Today we're excited to be able to share with you guys and play some games and hang out and have lots of fun, as we do every first Saturday of the month. So I hope you're tuning in every time. In this episode, are they episodes? I guess they are. In this show, in this month's show, Experience. Ooh. We're going to be talking about Origins Game Fair coming up the end of this month. Some of us are going to be at that show. Although most of us aren't in the shop right now. So come see us at the show. It'll be a great time. We're going to be demoing for some different companies and having fun in the evenings, playing lots of games. We'd love to hang out with you guys. It'd be a lot of fun. This episode is going to feature some games that you'll be able to see at Origins. We got a couple segments coming at you about information and fun things that you need to know. And then, of course, hang around at the end because we got a cool thing. We always like to give a shout out to our sponsors before we start the episode as well. So we want to give a huge shout out to Game Toppers LLC. Look at all this great stuff. Makes it flexible, gives us great opportunities to be able to make a coffee table and a full table and put them together and make a giant table. Also, we want to give a shout out to the Op, makers of Monopoly, but also tons and tons of other fantastic games that we always enjoy playing. So I think we're going to be ready to jump into the show. We're going to head over to the table.
Not yet.
The table's coming over here.
Because I have a special gift from a friend that I need to open up on the show.
Whoa,
snap.
For technically you and Sarah.
This is cool. I just got excited. It says, "Thanks, guys. You're the best." And then it has a stamp from bosleyart.com. What?
Whoa.
Did you already look at this?
Yes.
Oh. What do we,
Glued it back
is
in.
it some like promo code? What do we got? The bridge, the wife, the husband, the sticker. Oh, autographed? These are, cool.
What are they for? Tell us.
These
Everdell games.
These are Everdell game cards.
And they're autographed.
That's interesting.
Ooh. Wow.
Yeah. I believe we've got, is this a secret? There's a book coming.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that.
We'll go to the table because they know more about the book probably. But let's go ahead and do that right now. Head over there.
Welcome over here to the table. Yes, the Bosley Art, he's creating a book that we will talk about in a future Saturday morning board game segment. But
yes, an art book for a kind of world that he's created, and there's some storyline with it.
But right now we're going to show you a game that is coming to Kickstarter soon called Ada's Dream. It's not going to be at Origins, sorry. But if you're at UK Games Expo and you're watching this, I'm not sure why, but
Because you're at UK Games.
But this game is currently being demoed there this weekend.
So it's from Alleycat Games. Ada's Dream. This is they're actually the first game in I think it's the Great Thinkers line that they are starting at Alleycat Games.
What a great name.
The Great Thinkers. And Kevin and I have thoroughly enjoyed our plays of this prototype. Everything that you're going to see is prototype, so it's not finished quality. But this is a heavy, medium heavy Euro.
Yep.
Dice drafting, action selection, combos, all the stuff that we love. So we're just going to give you a quick idea of the types of things that are going to happen in this game. It is, how many? Well, not a set number of turns. It's once someone has filled their board with dice, that will trigger the end of the game. But you have two main choices on your turn. You're either going to draft dice from the main board, or you're going to place dice you've already collected onto your player board. So, drafting dice. Sounds simple, right? Yep. But there are so many choices. What you're going to do is choose one die on the board, and you're going to move it one circle to clockwise. Then you can select any die in that circle that is equal to or less than the value of the one that you pushed. It gets pushed into this bonus section and you get a benefit.
Get stuff.
Yep. So you're going to get stuff. Then it's going to come to your board. Actually, people move my dice around. I had this whole scenario set up.
That's okay. We gotta go, Melissa.
All right. So I'm moving this one. I'm bumping that green 3.
Okay.
That would give me a brass.
Yep.
I place the green 3, and I have cards in my hand. And if I have a card that matches the value, so it was a 3 and a 3, I can play that card and do stuff, which is like moving along a path and getting more things.
Not moving that.
Awesome. Oops, yep, not moving that. Moving my person.
Yep.
To get more stuff. Then, my die, I have, you can't see it on camera, but I took a green die, and I have 2 cards that I have collected in the green die slot. and that allows me to move up a research track, which will then give me more cool stuff.
Yep.
So, drafting turn, you can really work it out to get a ton of combos.
Yep.
Awesome stuff.
Then in a different turn, instead of drafting, you could place the dice that are on your board.
Why don't I?
There you go. Woo, good job. So you can place a die on your board and activate that color region. So we have the green region, the blue region, the purple region, and the yellow region. And basically you're going to be doing different things in that region in order to get more stuff. And you have a travel action, you have Ada's study, and you're going to be getting lots of things. You have the meetings area, which is going to be getting you more cards. The institutions, which is a lot of like variability, variableness in that. So a lot of things going on in this game. But the main thing to get points, Melissa, you want to talk about that?
All right, so eventually you're going to have all your dice in these slots, and you might have programs that you've collected. So this one says all green dice in this column.
How'd you do that?
Ta-da! It's amazing. It's like I set it up. So that would be an extra 9 points at the end of the game for completing that program. This one is consecutive values.
Cool.
Then you're also going to look at every complete row and column that has dice and gears in it. And I currently only have
That's okay.
one.
That's all right, Melissa.
And then you'll do the, so 3 plus 5.
8.
Plus 3.
11.
11 points. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for being my calculator. Here we have 4 plus 5 is
9.
9 times 6.
56.
But you have this little cloud thing that determines.
54.
Good job.
Yeah. 54,
That determines
actually.
how
54,
high.
Sorry.
Yep. Kevin, wrong math. Go
Wrong
back
math.
to
Yeah. Go back
back
to
to school.
Yeah.
All right. You have a cloud that determines how high. So even if it would be 50 something, I could only get a max of
Correct.
30 points
Yeah.
there. So Ada's Dream has a lot of interesting combos that you can make, a lot of variability with some of the setup, a lot of just moving pieces.
Yeah. So I was.
What are your thoughts?
No, I agree with Melissa. I like that it's a game that rewards you for doing things. There's not a game that's limiting you, so you're always getting things, getting benefits, getting stuff, and if you can do it in a way that's getting you even more combos and things like that, like that's the way to play this game. And
yes. Yeah, you do need resources to build the gears, so you need to plan out the order of steps that you want to take.
Yeah.
The white dice are wild, so that does mean you won't get locked out of actions. You could take a white die and then choose for it to be anything else. There's some going up the tracks. The first one that gets to the top gets an extra bonus that'll help at the end of the game. So there is a little bit of kind of racing the other players or trying to have majorities in certain areas. So there's a little bit of player interaction, not a ton. You're not attacking each other or doing anything like that. But if you like dice drafting, this is a really cool.
And this game is coming to Kickstarter. I believe it's the second week of June. Don't quote us on that, but it's coming soon.
Monday, June 10th, I believe, is the current date that they're shooting for.
And that is Ada's Dream from Alley Cat Games. Going back to the couch.
Welcome back. We are talking about a game that will be coming out from 25th Century Games. And by the way, they have a Kickstarter right now with 4 great games. Let's see if I can remember them all. Sand Art, Wine Cellar, Big Sur, and Grand Central Skyport. All great games. We got a video about it. You can check that out at another time. But right now we're going to look at Mojo. This is a simple card game that on your turn you're just going to play a card. If you happen to match the number of the card, you get to keep playing. If you lay lower, then you are done. If you lay higher, like I'm going to do, you get a card penalty. You're trying to get rid of your cards and have a low score. Katie, you're up. Katie, oh, she played the same.
Oh, snap. Oh, snap.
Scoring is going to work.
Same color?
It doesn't have to be
Color?
color doesn't matter right
You
now.
just want lower than that and keep going?
No, same to keep going.
Same to keep going.
Yeah, or
Lower,
lower to just get
you
rid of
can-
something bad.
Jonah didn't get the
Just
briefing
get
on
rid of
how to
something.
play the
Can
game.
I do that?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I'm done?
Yep.
Because it's not the same? Okay.
I
If you
will
play
do
higher,
that,
you have to draw
and
another
then I'm
card.
done.
You're trying to get a low score in this game.
Yes.
It's like golf.
Yes.
It's like golf. All right. What's my t-shirt? I'm actually going to talk about my t-shirt later. This is from Southern Fried Gaming Expo.
Ooh.
goes with a segment.
The Phoenix Squall.
All right, we're gonna keep playing. Ooh, Katie gets to go again.
Oh snap!
Nice.
Crazy.
Don't do this to me.
Don't.
Why are you doing that to me?
I don't know.
Because he doesn't know actually how to play the
I'm
game.
trying my best.
We're basically not telling
Okay,
Jonah
so
how to play
Anna
it.
is down to 3,
Oh,
which
man, one more.
signals that the end of the game is going to be coming
You got
at
like
least
3 more
in 3
turns.
turns, but maybe sooner.
Did you
Yeah.
win?
No.
Not yet.
Not
So I
necessarily.
played the same, so I get to go again. I'm going to play that.
Yeah, you
And
have 3.
now I have 3.
Perfect,
Oh.
Sarah.
Oh, she only has 2.
She only has 2.
Oh,
Okay, that?
No.
No.
What?
Just one
Yeah,
5.
Just fine, I only have 2.
Okay, this always happens.
All right.
So then I flip one. Alright, so
Yeah.
That's good to see.
And I'm going to flip one.
Are we
It
gonna
doesn't
win if
matter.
you only have 2?
maybe.
What am I flipping?
It's
Oh,
just
like
fine.
same rules apply.
No,
No.
just flipping
This
cards
is
to
just
signal the end of the
All right, I can do bam bam,
You don't want browns.
and I'm face down 2.
Oh, okay, so now we just flip then, right?
Yes.
Everybody's
Yeah.
face down.
So everybody flips one around. So that's the end.
And you
All
can't.
right. So we're going to score. Whoever flipped first, which was actually Katie, is going to get the Mojo card.
She flipped first.
She
Anna
flipped first.
Oh, Anna did before you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. All right. So what's going to happen is we will score. Scoring is going to work. Let me turn my cards here so you can see them. You're going to count the highest card in every color. So my blue, I just have a 0.
No, we
And
didn't.
the we didn't, Jonah, sorry. And the yellow, I only have 6 points, so the 5 is going to cancel out. If I happen to have a bunch of 6s, you're only going to count one of them. So my score is going to be 6. Anna's score,
It's
you
also
pull it
6.
down into the shot.
Would
Also
be
6.
Also 6. But Katie's going to swoop in. She only has 1.
Oh snap!
And Katie's gonna win. So that means that Katie's score is going to be 1. Anna is going to have to take a 10-point penalty
Oh.
Oh,
for
'cause she
not
was a-
being the lowest.
Oh, even though she was the first to lay down cards.
Yes.
Dirty.
All right. So everyone counts their score. There is a score
4
pad.
points for Ryan.
Yeah, that's
Score
not.
pad.
That's
You can
actually
keep track of
really good.
everybody's scores. You just keep playing off the decks. You're going to deal more cards, and when somebody hits 50, the game is over. That's
Time
Mojo.
out. Yeah.
Mojo.
Nice.
So pretty
losing
quick,
with
pretty
9.
fun. 9 actually
10.
isn't a bad.
Oh,
no,
well,
a bad
you've got
number.
10 plus 6. You have 16.
Yes.
This is amazing.
This also next round will go the other way. So
Ah.
that game.
Mojo.
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 Pretty
All
quick,
right.
pretty fun.
We're actually going to head over to Melissa for another segment.
Hello, welcome to the segment wall, or whatever Will wants to call it. Something probably more exciting than that. So normally I do like Melissa's mechanisms and I talk about a type of game. Well, today is not a mechanism. It is a type of game that you might play at a convention. So I'm talking about supersized games. So things that really shine in convention space and when you have a lot of people. So
Like this one.
Codenames, great party game, but super teeny tiny cards, right? So we have the super. Does it fit? Yes.
on
Thank you, Katie.
sorry.
So CGE came out with this supersized convention store display version. It has the regular codenames, pictures, and duet. And just to give you an idea of the components, your word cards are pretty big.
Yeah.
So you can see them across a table. You know, I think my parents would probably like
Oh, yes.
this version. Even the cards to put over them are big. The pictures,
Oh, yeah.
if you've ever stared at the teeny tiny pictures on the table, you have much bigger cards. So I would say that this is a pretty great version if you are playing at a convention or a big game night. I don't even know if this is available for
Yeah, but they do have
People
an
to buy.
They do have XXL.
XL. So that's going to be kind of in
Yeah.
between this version and the small version. What I want to know is what games come to your mind when you think of supersized games, games that are great for conventions. I believe we went to Origins as our first convention, and we saw the King of Tokyo with the basically my size standees. Katie agrees. She really enjoyed that one. There is a supersized Catan that I have seen. I've seen a supersized Ticket to Ride.
Yep.
A Robo Rally.
Oh, the Robo Rally is kind of fun. I think that might have been a Gen Con, though.
Right, instead of Origins.
And it was like with real robots, which is really cool.
But another one that is available to the public, so it's not just a store thing, that is supersized is Decrypto.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin and I played that at
Dice Tower East.
Dice Tower East last year. I had never played Decrypto, and the normal Decrypto comes in a
Like
codename size box.
Yep.
This one is much bigger. The screens are big. They take a table, and that was an awesome experience playing with that larger version in the convention setting. I'm looking to see if there's any.
Anybody's anything?
Yeah. What about you, Kevin? What comes to your mind?
I have all the ones that you've mentioned. I have seen like bigger like just games that have been on tables that like people are able to like put out at a convention. Like sometimes people don't have the space at home, so they're playing like just like big war games. I've seen it's kind of interesting. I'm not into those types of games, but it was interesting to go to them and like see this huge sprawling map. So things that you can do at a convention like that is different than you might be able to do like at a your normal game week.
Oh, I meant to bring it, but we didn't stick it in the box. But we do have the colossal version of Castles of Mad King Ludwig, which the tiles are about this big. Now, we do have a giant pool table that we play it on, but that's also great for a convention because you can have the big space.
Giant Rhino Hero I've seen played as well. Of course, you have the classics, the big chess, the big checkers, things like that.
So yeah, supersized games at conventions. Let me know if you've seen any, if you've played any, or what would be a good idea for one that should be supersized. I think I saw a supersized Root one year. It was giant and played on the floor. So lots of ideas for conventions for upsizing the games.
An old game called The Duke. It's like a chess-like game. I played that at a convention. That was fun.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, let me know. I think we are going back to the couch.
Hi. So, what we've got here is 13 Beavers. This is from the Asmodee and Format Games. And this is a family weight game. It says 7+ on the age. And I think that's mostly just for reasoning skills. Because I've definitely played it with my kids and they enjoyed it. Youngest one at 4 didn't really understand what was going on, but she had a good time anyway. But in this game, the idea is that you are little beavers and you're trying to make it around the board to Beaver Paradise. Now, I would have expected this to look a little bit different as Beaver Paradise, but maybe to beavers, that's
trees?
amazing.
Maybe
yeah,
more trees.
maybe more trees.
It's green.
It is green. But yeah, maybe beavers love that. Anyway, it's got this beautiful, colorful board. And basically, this is a game where you're going to be pushing your luck. So maybe I can get it where I can see the, yep. All right, so what you're going to do on your turn, you'll have one card flipped. So these cards are numbered 1 to 13. And what you're going to be doing is guessing what you think the next card will be as higher or lower than the previous card laid. So for example, Sarah, on your turn, you would have to make the choice. Do you think it's going to be higher or lower than this card?
I think it's gonna be higher.
That's the
Okay.
spirit.
That does seem reasonable. I will say my 4-year-old got a remarkable lot of low cards. Like, she's like, it's going to be lower than I was like, not really. Oh, never mind. It's a 1. Good job.
Yeah, but Sarah's not 4.
No, she's right. Yeah, she was 4, it would. All right, so 13. So what would happen then was she would move 1 space ahead with her beaver, leaving behind the little beaver dam. So this is like your little safe haven, and it like is your saver of progress.
Okay.
So now this would be an easy one to choose because there's no higher cards. You'd say
That's lower.
it's going to be lower. So there
Ooh.
she moves up to this. This is a little trickier now. So then you decide whether you think it's going to be higher or lower, or you could choose to save your progress by building your beaver dam and sitting in it.
I'll build my beaver dam.
Okay, so
I'll let
that's,
somebody else go.
I know. So this is harder to try to then figure out, is this going to be higher or lower? This I'm going to say higher.
Yeah, you should have gone higher.
Oh, it's not! So I make absolutely no progress with my beaver, and my turn is over.
Okay.
Now, there are spots on the board where you can have you run into all other kinds of complications. Here, you have a tempting tunnel where if you land on this space, you can decide if you want to try it, and if you do, you have to call a specific number off the top. If you get it, you go immediately to paradise and you win the game.
That's sick.
If you don't, you have to go all the way back to start regardless of where your beaver dam is.
Okay. So are the 13, we are not the 13 beavers. I'm just wondering from a lore perspective. We just have 13 beavers that are assisting us in getting to paradise?
In the lore of this game, there is this paradise place for beavers, but
Okay.
only 13 beavers have ever made it. So we're all attempting to get in there.
So we're calling upon the beavers of old
Yes, to help
for
us.
our journey.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Now, there are other components in this game. Tell us
Yes.
about
So there's spots on the board. Like this one is one where you can't build a dam, so you can't decide to save your progress here. There's this space here where you can go fishing, and you're basically, this is another like push your luck kind of thing that you have.
The fish are magnetic.
The fish are magnetic. You have a little fishing pole, and the fish will tell you what you get to do. This is a stinky fish.
No.
And stinky fish would make you lose 2 spaces. There are other fish here. Like this is a time traveling fish. This is an amazing spot for fishing, by the way. Time traveling fish that let you basically go back and correct one of your mistakes that you've made on your when you flip, and if you were wrong, you could try to flip it again. There's this one that does double speed, so instead of moving 1 space each time you get a correct card, you can move 2 spaces, which is that's amazing if you can get a lot of progress that way. As you come over here, you start hitting rapids. As you get to this space, if you're correct, it'll shunt you 3 spaces ahead, but if you're wrong, you have to go back.
Like Candyland.
Yes, kind of. So you get over here, then you have to like fight this pack of wolves. Oh, I say fight. You flip one over, and if it's awake, you immediately lose your progress. Like you stay here and you don't get to go on. And then you have to find, there's one that's asleep. I'm gonna get it. No, there. Once that's done, once you found a sleeping wolf, then anybody who comes behind you can all pass through. There's only one.
There's only one sleeping wolf with a 1 in 5 chance of surviving?
Yes. So, anyway, so you come back through, and then you have a couple more spaces where you can't save your progress, and then you make it to paradise. But that's the basic gist of the game. One other possibility is if you get 2 numbers in a row that are the same, you immediately save progress and your game ends.
Oh.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Cool.
So that's the basic game. Like I said, fun to play with kids. My kids super loved the fact that there was like magnetic fish. There were things to flip over. The little, these are little wooden tokens. They really enjoyed these. They wanted to play with them, and I kept saying, no, we've got to have them for this show this morning. So we got to play it this morning, and my 5-year-old thought it was super fun. So we enjoyed playing that this morning. This is 13 Beavers. So back to the table.
Welcome back to the table. We're talking about Heat, Heavy Rain from Days of Wonder. This is an expansion to Heat. One of my favorite games of last year. Enjoy. It's a sort of hand management, programming type game. not really programming, but a hand management type game where you're trying to race around the track. This brings it to a 7th player. So you have a new orange player, which is right here. And then you have 2 new tracks. You have Japan and you have Mexico. We'll talk about these in just a second. But you also have in the box new upgrade cards, which brings a purple drop to the game. What does this mean, Melissa?
So this is a new type of cooling, super cool, and for each number in the drop, is it always 1?
For now,
Yeah.
yes.
You get to cool a heat from your discard pile. So normally when you cool, it has to come from your hand, so you're waiting until your hand is jumped up.
Yeah.
With those, it can come from your discard pile, so that allows you to get a heat back into your engine easier.
The sponsor cards, which if you play with that, it's sort of an extra module that you can add into Heat. Have you ever played with sponsor?
No, not sponsor cards.
Okay, but these have 2 on them.
Nice.
So they're cool
For the super cool.
Super cool.
So-
It was super helpful.
So the new maps, you have Japan, like I said, on one side. As you can tell, there are water hazards on some of the corners. What do they mean? Well, if you need to lower your gear, so shift down, while you're in there, it costs you an extra heat in order to shift. So shifting down 1 gear is going to cost you heat. Shifting down 2 gears is going to cost you 2 heat. So it's just a little harder to go around these corners. And
Because they're wet.
they're wet.
I get it. Heavy rain.
Have you
And
met-
then the chicanes are the other extra thing,
Yeah.
where you have 2 curves that are the same speed, basically back to back.
And yeah, so if you go through both of these curves in the same round,
We're going this way.
sorry, if you're going, then you're gonna have to check your speed twice. So if you're going 7 around here,
Yeah.
that's 7 minus 4. 7 minus 4, that's 6 heat.
Yeah.
Woo!
You get
That's
stuck
a little
really
And there's
easily.
water, so you can't shift
There's
down
water,
without
you
spending
can't shift
heat.
All right, Mexico.
No water.
No water, but we do have some chicanes. We got a 2.
Look at that straightaway, though.
Yeah, it's nice.
22 space straightaway.
So Kevin had the 8
I had the 8 wings, man. I was flying. Memorial Day, we pulled this out. We played 7 players on Memorial Day, and I would say it was very enjoyable. I think we played 2 laps instead of 3, though. So
Yes, we did, because we didn't have a lot of time. Yeah, so that one is 6 heat, 2 stress. I think the other side might have been
I think
a little different.
3 stress, yeah.
Um,
But this one doesn't have any water hazards on it, but it does have the chicanes, which is new for the Heat. So just taking a step back, this is the first expansion to Heat. I would have wanted more. Personally, I want 2. They could easily fit 2 of these. They could have 4 new tracks and 2 cars. So, I
You get
mean,
8 players.
right? Because you can go to 8 players.
Yeah.
So that would have been my personal.
They have podium space up to 12.
Yeah, right
Right.
here.
And the starting spaces go up to 12, right?
So that means to me they're going to be milking this. Like that's like we're going to
It's
have
coming.
expansion after expansion after
It's
expansion.
coming.
So, but even that, I mean, so 7. Let's say 1, 2, 3. Are we talking about 5 more expansions?
Maybe.
Maybe they'll do one with
Maybe
a lot
you
of
put them all
cars.
together.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 12 because if you buy 2 base game, but then they're the same color. Nope, that doesn't work. I don't know.
Trying,
I was trying.
You're trying. So that's Heat Heavy Rain. If you enjoy Heat, I'd highly recommend the expansion. Hopefully, they'll have more expansions coming soon. Back to the couch.
No.
No, we're
Back
headed
to
to
Will.
Oh, to Will.
Will.
Mhm.
All right, I'm coming at you with my top 5 things about the Origins Game Fair. Now, I have to admit right out of the gate that this one has kind of a little warm spot in my heart. Origins was actually like the first major, maybe first ever board game convention that I ever got to attend. I'd been to some Comic-Cons and things like that, but it was the first time I had been surrounded by board games, and it was a really fantastic experience. And so let me go ahead and give you my top 5 things, top 5 reasons that I like Origins. The number 5 is the location. It's right in downtown Columbus. I grew up just south of Columbus, and so it's a convenient location for me and my family. It also is just a really great place to have a con. They've got local, reasonably priced parking, which is awesome. There's lots and lots of food options, which we'll probably hear more about in a second. Nearby, the space is big, it's open, it's wide, there's plenty of places to go play and sit at different tables with people, and it's just a very nice, clean, open, bright space. It works really, really well for the convention. That is my number 5. My number 4 is events. And so there are a lot of different things that go on at Origins. They have like their own game award show. The Dice Tower does some award shows there. Last time we were there, we heard Grant Lyon do a comedian show while we were there. In addition to the games and the space and everything else that's going on, Origins does do a great job of hosting a bunch of events. You can hear speakers talk. You can do special big gaming groups. There's lots and lots of things to get involved in. My number 3 is the food. The food at Origins is fantastic. They've got some food in the spaces, which is nice and convenient and easy to get to. The North Market is just like a block and a half away and has a plethora of food options, which is really fantastic. There's Jenny's ice cream just a couple blocks down. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Jenny's ice cream flavor is. They've got so many amazing ones. Every night there'll be like a line of board gamers out at Jenny's ice cream eating. Barley's is right across the street, and they have those cool, oh shoot, I should have grabbed them. They have those cool collectible glasses. I've gotten one year after year after year, and it's just neat to be able to eat the food, enjoy, hang out with the people, which brings me to, ba-ding, number 2, the people. Man, one of the best things about the Origins Game Fair is the people that it draws in. It's a big enough convention that everybody, all the main people still come to it. It draws all those Canadians down. We're talking about Daryl Andrews and Matt Paquette, and you've got the Capels, and you've got whatever that Rodney guy's name is. Lots of really great Canadians, and people just from everywhere come out to that show. I almost forgot about Connor on purpose. Inside Up Games. Lots of companies, lots of publishers, lots of designers, lots of media folks. Everybody comes out to this show, and it's a really great time to be able to hang out and play. And then because of that first reason, the space, it's also a great show to be able to, ding, 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 the number one thing, play games at this show. There are open tables, there's time. It's not so crowded that you have to go see every single thing. Origins is my gaming fair, game show, game fair, go to play games fair. Because there's always time to like do more than just get a quick demo. You can sit down, you can play the game, you can learn new games. After hours, there's always people hanging out in the open spaces, bringing cool games that whether they got them at Origins or other places to play. And the games is probably obviously on all of this, the number one reason to go to a show. But at this show, you actually get the opportunity to play it. Super fun, lots of great people, lots of great food, lots of great times. I'm excited, I'm ready to go. Hopefully, I'll see you there, but let's head on back to the table to see what else we got in this show.
Hello,
We're
welcome
back.
back to the table. We're talking about another expansion. This is the Day of Expansions, and this is for 7 Wonders Architects, the Metals expansion. Now, Jonah, have you played 7 Wonders Architects?
Many, many times.
So, the big idea of the game is you have a wonder that you're trying to build by collecting resources. You're going to have a deck of cards between you and the player next to you. So basically you have, so this would be between us, there'd be one between me and the next player, and then there'd be a middle section. On my turn I would take this, or the one from the middle that I can't see. And then basically you're trying to build your wonder and get points. So this expansion is adding 2 new wonders.
Yep.
We have, which one do you have?
So I've got The wonders they're all unique in the base game and of course in the expansion. But the really cool part about the wonders is that you do have a special ability pretty much linked to every single wonder. So with the special ability is that you get to take the cat pawn, which the cat pawn will give you points if you're holding it at the end of the game. And also, if you're holding the cat pawn on your turn, you can take a look at what the cards are, the face-up card from the middle, basically. You can take a look at and see if you'd like that card or not. And so what this special ability says, it says take the cat pawn from wherever it is on the table, put it in front of you, and then use its ability immediately and choose one of the 3 available cards and place it in front of you. So that's actually a really cool, kind of fun ability for one of the new wonders in the expansion.
So I have Rome, and it basically has 4 on the bottom, so you can kind of decide what order you want to do those in. The special power is that you can take a card that is in front of any player, so one that they've already have in their area, and place it in front of you. If it has a cat or a horn symbol, you will trigger that when you take it, but then the player that you have stolen from is going to take the top card from the middle deck, the face down deck. They keep it face down in front of them until the start of their turn. It flips over and then they take their turn. So you get some sort of consolation for being stolen from.
Cool. Now the biggest, of course, addition to the expansion are the medals. Melissa, you have to tell us about how those work.
So there are quite a few medals that come in the game, and you will randomly select some to use based on your player count, and then each medal is going to go in front of one of the decks. So basically, the two of us are competing for this medal, and the player to my right and I are competing for this medal. So you have the ability to get up to 2 medals, the two next to you. And basically the first of those 2 players to meet the requirements gets the medal. So this one would be have 3 science cards in front of you. Have 3 of the war battle cards. Have 1 of each color. Some of them are really tricky. Like have a gold, have a cat, and have one with a horn.
With the horns,
So there, and so you have to play your cards as soon as you get a match. So you might have 2 of those, get another resource, and then have to discard your gold, and then you don't have that anymore. So, and they are worth 4 points at the end of the game.
I love it.
So it adds a little bit more competition into the game with the medals. I'm just going to check and see if there are any questions, but Seven Wonders Architects plays up to 7, I believe. It's a great quick game when you have a lot of people, and it's not very difficult. So it's great for family and casual gamers as well, or for something kind of as a filler if you don't have a lot of time.
That's one of my favorite parts about Seven Wonders Architects is that it's really easy to play, explain, really easy for a new person to pick up the rules. So that's why I like it.
All right, I think we are going to the couch.
Welcome back to the couch. Today we're playing Cafe Baras, a game about being a barista capybara in a cafe and trying to build the best one possible. This is for 2 to 4 players. It's about 30 minutes. It's from Kids Table Board Games. And on your turn, you have a hand of 4 cards. You're going to play 1 from your hand, and then you're going to draw back up to 4. And then whoever has the most points wins. That's the simple version, but there's a little bit more to that. How we're actually going to look at one of these cards that you can play. In the top, you have the kinds of goods that it would add to your cafe. You're either going to play it into your cafe and it becomes the top part, or you're going to serve the drink and it becomes how much money you get from the chalkboard section. So, and I'll explain how that works. If you want to play it into your cafe, you'll add an additional, for this one it would be an additional drink symbol. You would have to pay 1 coin. At the end of the game, it'd be worth 1 point. There is on some of them some special actions that you would do as soon as you play it into your cafe. But if you wanted to play it for money to get more income, you're going to see how many of those symbols on the chalkboard match the symbols you already have in your cafe, and you're going to get 1 coin for every one that matches. If you happen to be able to match all of the items plus have the decor, which is always going to be that last one in your cafe, then you actually place it under your little capybara and it becomes a regular. It's worth 4 points at the end of the game.
Ooh.
We also, in addition to the actual drinks and items and things that are going to make your cafe better, we have 4 special guests. Those want specific cards and they're worth more points. If at any point in your turn you fulfill the requirements for those special guests, you take it automatically and you add it to your cafe and you get those points at the end of the game. The game is going to end if anyone has 3 regulars or the last special guest has been taken. Everyone else will get 1 final turn. You add up your score and whoever has the most points wins. But these have some really cute little art. There's only 4 players, but we all have our own little cafe. Mine is Express Yourself. My little, I think he's a little.
Oh yeah, mine says Sipster's Caffeinery. Whoa,
Caffeinery.
Caffeinery.
Say it.
Amenity. Cappuccino.
Been there, done that.
The capybara, cafe bara little puns are adorable. So I actually am going to add to my cafe an empanada. It's going to be a sandwich. I have to pay 2 coins. And then I gain 1 point for each customer in the display that wants any sandwich. 2 sandwiches, so I would get 2 coins. I draw back up to 4 from the ones that are visible. I am just hoping for ones that I can get money from at this point. Refills back up to 4, and now it's Katie's turn.
All right, I'm adding a tea cabinet to my shop. And I probably should not play that at this moment because I get extra points for what other people have. I don't have, there's nobody's got anything down. Does that happen at the end of the game or does that happen
No,
right now?
that's going to be at the end of the game.
Oh, okay, so I'm good.
So it is good.
Yes.
All right, I got my little
possible.
I got my little tea cabinet going here.
And that will be the teacups that we have up top.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
And then draw back up to 4.
From here?
From
I'm
the
getting a
visible
smoothie
spaces.
because that looks amazing.
I'm gonna play. Actually, no, I'm not gonna play that. I'm gonna play my smoothie. Bam.
Oh, you got a smoothie too?
I got a smoothie too. And then, do I get anything from this?
So there's nothing. That would be what you would want to fulfill.
Okay.
So that's just. It's another drink symbol for further in the game when you want to serve customers.
All right, got it.
I'm gonna play a table.
That sounds important to have.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
I just have a random smoothie and I'm trying to sell it to
Then draw back
someone.
up to 4 from one of the
Like
visible
peddling your
spaces.
Who wants a smoothie?
Did you draw up to 4, Ryan?
Yes.
Okay. So, and then just for the sake of showing you how it would work, I'm actually going to serve this Tinto coffee to a customer. So I'm going to look to see how many symbols match. I have a drink, because we all started with a drink and a tea, a coffee and a tea.
Oh.
And I also have a sandwich.
Can't see the card.
So I would also get a sandwich. So I'm going to get 2 coins, because I have 2 that match. And then this just gets discarded.
Oh, okay.
And then I would draw back up to 4 and keep going. And that is the basic gameplay. Any questions on any of that?
No,
Any
it looks
questions?
pretty good.
It's really cute. It's pretty simple. You have to do the engine building, managing your resources. The art's really cute, but it has all of the...
I'm gonna add an
You can
armchair.
add an armchair.
Not an armchair. It's a pink armchair. I can't resist. It's so fun.
And you also, that's how you add your decor.
Okay.
There's 3 different decor symbols you're trying to tack on, because eventually some of them will want, like this wants 2 coffees, so you're gonna have to make sure you have enough symbols in your cafe for future reference.
Got it.
Yeah. So this is Cafe Baras, your capybara baristas from Kid Table Board Games, and now we're gonna head to Sarah at the wall.
In this segment, I'm going to talk about some tips and tricks for attending a convention. Just some general things to keep in mind to make your experience at the convention even better. First, I'm going to go over a few that are coming up this summer. Usually we think of summertime as convention season, although nowadays we have conventions year-round. SaltCon is coming up in Utah, June 7th through the 10th. Dice Tower East, July 3rd through 7th. CharCon, which is on my to-do list to get to that one eventually. I haven't attended, but I would like to. That one's July 12th through 14th. My family's favorite convention outside of Tantrum Con is Southern Fried Gaming Expo. That one has not only board games, but also pinball video games and all kinds of fun extras. That one is July 19th through 21st. Game and Party Con, if you're interested in playing not just some of the tabletop games, but a lot of games that aren't as much featured in some of the tabletop areas like party games and card games. That is going to be Game and Party Con in St. Augustine, August 8th through the 11th. And then one of our local favorites is Mega Moose. That is in Richburg, South Carolina. That's in September, not long after Gen Con. So to get started here, I have a few tips for what to do before you get to the convention. I've got 4 things. First off is check the event schedule. to plan out what you might want to do with some of your free time. And check it regularly. Don't just check it once, pick a few things, because sometimes events get added later on, especially with some of these smaller conventions, and so they may not lock down their event schedule quite as early as Origins or Gen Con might. So go back and check the schedule frequently to see if there's anything that interests you. And next up is plan your trip through the vendor hall. Pick out the few places you want to see that are on your must-see list, and but don't be scared to stop off at a booth that may have something to catch your eye. But plan a little bit of time for the vendor hall so that you can pick up whatever you'd like. And then the next thing is check the library in advance. If the library already has some games that you're interested in playing, do that so that you don't have to bring them with you. That keeps your load light, but then do bring some filler games. There may be some time left over after one of your demos or playing a game with an event that you might want to just sit down and play a quick filler with whoever's at the table with you. So I usually plan on packing a couple fillers. I don't usually tend to bring bigger games unless I have a plan to get them played. Next up is things to think about or plan at when you arrive to the event. First thing is make sure you plan on getting some sleep. I'm really bad at this, and I tend to stay up super late and then need to be back to the convention early the next morning if I am working or volunteering. But make sure you plan on getting some sleep and a shower and deodorant and all those things. Next up is I usually make sure and pack in my bag some snacks. And when I do that, I am kind of mindful about what kind of snacks that I pack. If I'm gonna bring something that is a huge allergen like nuts, which is a good snack, but I usually try and make sure I wash my hands or have something to clean up just in case there's somebody with allergies. But I always try and also pack individually packed mints or cough drops or gum or something so that if I want to share with others at the table, I have that option. Plan on making sure you hydrate well, bring a water bottle, or have backup drinks in your bag to make sure you stay hydrated. And then also make sure that you plan on wearing, I usually wear lightweight clothes, a t-shirt. I have one of my con t-shirts on. This one's from Southern Fried Gaming. And then a light hoodie or something that can be thrown over, because what happens is it gets really warm in the middle of the day and then everybody starts clearing out later in the evening, and all of a sudden the convention center air conditioning catches up to what it should have been all day and it's now freezing. So I usually pack something to throw over what I've got on. Yes, sleep comes after. That sounds like a great plan unless you're playing way too late in the night. Next up, I have make sure and plan some meals. It's easy to get wrapped up in a game and then to just keep pushing through, but make sure and ask people throughout the day, hey, what are you doing for this mealtime? And there's a lot of conventions will have options on site, but make sure and check that ahead of time. That would be in the planning before you get to the convention. And then you can plan doing meals. Most places will have some great restaurants nearby if you don't eat the food on site. One tip that always helps me later on is when I sit down to play a game is to take a photo or take some notes on my phone so that I can remember it later. Now, I'm usually making content about my experience, so I need to talk about it later or remember about it, but this will help you if you later on, oh, this game's gonna be coming out later in the year, I wanna remember what it was or my experience. Write it down, take a photo so you can remember what publisher and where to get that game if it's not out yet. Next up, best tip is if you see somebody else who's sitting down to learn a game and you already know how to play, walk up and offer to help teach the game if you know it well. I've had some great experiences where we sit down and we're like, okay, let's start learning this, and somebody walks up, hey, do you want me to teach this? Saves everybody so much time, and you can meet some great new friends that way, helping others out by offering to teach. And last but not least, don't feel shy or awkward to say hi to any content creators. A lot of the big name celebrities sometimes have a really tight schedule, but feel free to stop us and say hi. And if you see other people that you know along the way, stop them and say hi, because our board game community is great and we always have a fun time hanging out with our friends at the conventions. So hopefully some of those tips and tricks help you out this coming season with conventions. And we're going to head back to the couch for another game.
Welcome back. We are taking a look at Sandbag from Bezier Games. This is one of Kevin's favorite of the year, so I'm kind of sad that he's switching right now instead of playing. But this is a trick-taking game. Last month we talked about Xylotar, which is another trick-taking game coming from Bezier. So they have a whole lineup that they are bringing. I believe Sandbag is going to be available for demo at Origins and then purchase at Gen Con. But just, check out their socials for the exact things that they're doing with this game. It might actually be available for pre-order right now. But this is a trick-taking game where you don't want to take tricks. You don't want points. So we have already set up the game. We were able to pass cards to our neighbors, and then we designated one card to be our sandbag. It will never be face up. It can be kind of a throwaway that we use. And then we secretly selected each 2 cards to place down in front of us. We all revealed them, and now we are determining what trump is. That is the color that is represented the most. We have a tie, red and orange. Red has the highest value number with a 10, so currently red is trump. Sarah, that was Hannah's, sorry, that was Hannah's cards, so Hannah's going to take the first turn, or lay the first, lead for the first
I'm
trick.
going to lead with an orange 1. And it's
So if you have the same color, you have to follow suit. If you don't, you can play anything. You can also decide to use one of the face-up cards and swap that into the trick. It just can't be your own card.
right. So I will play this one. That means she has no orange in her hand. Right. Just remember that.
0, so currently Hannah is still winning the trick.
that trick. So it's
Super goofy.
If Jonah had more rockets in his hand, you can play a rocket off suit, but then you're giving -5 points to the winner of that trick.
But I'll still do it because I don't want the trick.
I will. Ooh.
So Hannah takes the pile. Each of the face-up cards go face down to be 1 point each at the end of the game, but she also has a -5.
Which is pretty nice. I will say every time I've played this, it has been very hard to not win that first trick.
Oh, Hannah is...
Ooh, let's explain what happens if you lead with one of those negative rockets.
So, currently, you would have to play a number card.
Okay, I will play this number card.
So, yellow is the
Lead.
Lead color?
Lead color.
You
Yes.
have to follow. And now you kind of want to win the trick because there's a rocket in there. So let's see if I can win the trick.
Let's just, yeah, that would be, I would love for you to take over leading because I don't like my cards. So please take over.
Let's see what Melissa has up her sleeves.
All right.
You can't take your own 5. Ugh.
Nope. I'm actually going to do something weird.
She's trumping it.
But it is not
It's
Trump
no longer
anymore.
Trump.
We have now orange is Trump because it changed
Because she shifted.
mid-trick.
It changes mid-trick, which can be tricky.
Orange is Trump, but yellow is still lead. Color.
Yellow is the lead color. Orange is Trump.
You either need a 3 yellow or any orange.
Right. So that'll do it.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's yours.
All right. Perfect. Perfect. And now I lead?
Ooh, I was gonna say, this one's hard because you may think you've set your hand up well, and then the
the trump changes, and suddenly you've got a hand that you are having a hard time getting rid of.
Yep. This is one of those things with the mindset you have to change. Like, I don't want this.
Right. And we're not going to play a full hand. We'll just play a few more so we could move on to the next thing.
It's amazing how often you can lose when you play a 0.
Right, so that one's mine.
Yep. Yes, you can play a 0 and still win the trick because everyone plays offsuit or trump changes.
It's definitely more thinking.
You can strategically change trump to make someone who's already played then the winner of that trick. There are 5 rockets. 2 have been collected.
And
One
there
is
it
face
is.
up.
Oh,
You still win with that 4.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, this will be our last hand. So
All right.
I think you've gotten the idea of the flow.
It
of
is so
things.
fun that we actually do just want to play the full game. Mm-hmm. And how many rounds does it go?
So you're supposed to play 3 full rounds, and you do.
Oh, it's killing me.
There is no shooting the moon in this.
Yeah.
We go. Just let somebody else take it.
Let's play this one. Let's see who wins it.
The orange is currently trump.
And you have to play orange if you got it. How interesting.
So the second card becomes the lead card, the required thing.
Yeah, no one has thrown a sandbag yet because we've had a lot of rockets, but you can choose to throw your sandbag instead of one of your cards if you don't want to win the trick.
The worst.
At the end of each round, once we've gone through our whole hand, we'll... All right. Blue is now trump.
Blue is trump? Never mind. Well, here we go. There you go.
Well, but now it's not.
Yeah, and then it would
No,
still be
yellow is trump.
they'll be yellow.
Then it's yellow.
Yellow is trump.
So then it's high card.
And now it goes
and
back
then
to
I would
Melissa.
take this.
Yep.
So at the end of the round, we would count up all of our points, and any player who has 10 or more gets to do extra sandbags the next round for each 10 over. So if you have 30 points, you're putting down an extra 3 sandbags. So
you've got to catch the leader mechanic
Yes.
there.
It's very nice.
So that is sandbag. If you're playing, it plays up to 6 players, and there are 7 value rockets that you use when you're playing at a higher player count. So 3 to 6 players, sandbag from Bezier Games. I think now we're staying at the couch. We're gonna have whoever else wants to join in, and we're just gonna talk a little bit about Origins and some of our favorite memories, since Origins is coming up later this month.
All right, who's joining? We made room.
Oh, you did?
Okay, well,
I have this seat
we'll
behind here.
We'll spread out.
Oh yeah, there's
We're good.
definitely room there.
Now I can just be creepy and breathe heavily.
Thank you. There's Ryan behind
That
me.
was my favorite experience of Origins.
All right, so who wants to go first?
I will. So I think the very first time we went to Origins was 2015. So we're coming up on, this will be my 9th Origins coming up this year.
wow.
And my favorite experience is from that first year. We didn't know a lot of people at the event because we were newer into the board gaming, not necessarily to board games, but to attending conventions. And we ran into Rodney Smith, of all people. And
Watch It Played.
Watch It Played, yes. And he was like, hey, do you want to play a game? And we're like, sure. So he had a copy of the Polish version of Mysterium before it was published in English. And we sat down and played, but he just had to play off of memory because he was like, I think I remember all the rules. But we had a great time, and some of us jived really well with his clues, and some of us at the table didn't, which made a really great experience. So I had a lot of fun playing Mysterium. Hopefully the correct way. If not, it was
Did you
great.
confirm it later?
Yeah.
I'm sure you confirmed it
Were
later.
you and Ryan there with us that year? Or-
No.
I know Kevin and I.
Yeah,
I
were
was
there.
not anyway. I know I wasn't. I think Ryan did go one year before I got to go to Origins.
Yeah. So that's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Some of my favorite parts of Origins, for me is I really enjoy working at conventions. That's one of my favorite things to do. It's maybe a little strange, but I got to work for several different companies, but every time I go, I really enjoy teaching a game and getting to play it with lots of different people. I get to see people's strategies and how people think differently and approach problems differently and how they problem solve, and that part is really fun. Getting to talk to people, they're excited to be there, they're excited to learn the game. And just seeing that enthusiasm for gaming is probably one of my favorite parts of Origins. So, yeah.
Last year was my first time going to Origins, and along the same lines as Katie, we like to volunteer when we go to conventions. So we helped Game Toppers, actually. So we worked with Becky and the team, and it was just really cool. Like, I had seen Game Toppers here at Tantrum House, but seeing everything that Game Toppers has and all the special features and all the different playing mats was just really cool to see and experience in person.
So I've only been to Origins once, but my story is so special because I feel like I fell in love at Origins, and here's why. It's not with any of the games. The games are awesome. Conventions are awesome. But one evening after dinner, everyone was like, we have to go to Jenny's. And I didn't know what Jenny's was because I had never been to Origins before. And they were like, you don't know what Jenny's is? And I was like, no, and you're not really helping me. Just by saying I don't know what it is, I don't know. But anyway, Jenny's is an ice cream parlor, if you will. And they have delicious flavors. And I went lots and lots and lots of times after that first evening. And then, come to find out, they opened a Jenny's in our town where we live. It's been an experience. So it's been about a year for me of being hooked on Jenny's ice cream.
Specifically Brambleberry Crisp.
Specifically the flavor Brambleberry Crisp. It's delicious. I don't know what they put in Brambleberries, but boy is it good. That is my love story of Origins.
So it's been several years since I've been to Origins, but I went a lot in the early years, and one of my memories is being in like one of the hotel like breakfast areas doing late-ish night gaming, and
This is a great story.
rolling dice and taking names were there, some other content creators, and we were playing Don't Mess with Cthulhu. Too bad Will's not here for the story. And I know at least Marty was there. I don't remember if Tony was, but we were playing Don't Mess with Cthulhu. It's a social deduction game. I am not good at those games. I'm a terrible liar. I always look guilty.
Always.
Well, somehow...
Even when you're not.
Somehow, Ryan and I were the two cultists.
Oh, that's the worst combination.
Because Ryan's
Ryan's also bad.
But somehow, like, we convinced Marty and others that we were good. And it came down to like the last flip, and I think if Ryan tells the story, he's like, his legs was
his
like
legs were shaking under the
table.
Yes, I have definitely heard this story. Yes.
And somehow it's like, yes, if you come to me, we will win. It'll be awesome. And then it was like the Cthulhu or something like that. And Ryan and I pulled out the win, and seemed like we actually knew what we were doing.
The only social deduction win these two have ever had together on a team.
But yeah, Origins, again, I haven't been recently, but I have always loved that it was smaller than Gen Con. It felt it still has the big con feel, but a little more intimate than Gen Con. And you could spend maybe a little bit more time socializing with other people, like content creators and designers and publishers, because it wasn't quite as frantic as Gen Con. So that's what I've always loved about Origins.
Agreed on that for sure.
All right, I think that about wraps it up. We will. Oh, did you have a story?
I mean, I was just gonna say, I got COVID the first time I went to Origins. The gift that keeps on giving. No, for me, the first time I went to Origins, I worked at the booth next to Cephalofair, and they ended up giving me a copy of Gloomhaven.
Oh wow!
And I had to. It was great, but I had to lift, bro. I had to lug that thing all the way to my car, which was on the other side of the building, which was on the other side of the convention center and everything. And that was a really cool experience. I was like, oh, what a great way to christen my Origin experience.
Nice. Let us know in the comments if you will be at any of the conventions coming up this summer, right before we end our show here. Let's see, Will and I will be at Origins. Is there any other conventions this summer? I believe we will also be at Southern Fried Gaming Expo and Gen Con. I think quite a few of us will be at Gen Con this year. Anybody else?
I think Ryan's going.
Ryan's going to Gen Con.
Yep.
Gen Con?
Yep.
Gen Con? No, you guys aren't. You guys are
New jobs, not enough.
new jobs on us.
Yeah.
And then we
I
will
got kids.
also be heading to Essen, several of us. So anybody internationally, we can see you over in Germany later this fall.
Yeah, it'll be
Right.
mine and Ryan's first time at Essen, and we're pretty excited.
Very cool. All right. Well, we thank you so much for tuning in today and hanging out with us this morning. Be sure to comment where you're heading. We'll hopefully be able to catch up with any of you soon. We'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.
Downtown Columbus, our destination. Origins Game Fair, we always come back because we love to be there. All the brand new games we're ready to play. Come on, I want you to come with me. Stepping through the doors, the buzz fills the